Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to cover up her body when strangers enter the home? I am fully aware the title sounds sexist, but hear me out, please. My girlfriend comes from a wealthy background and grew up with maids, chefs, chauffeurs, etc. I was raised in a completely opposite environment and still adjusting to dating someone like her. When we're not with her parents, we spend a lot of time at one of her apartments. Here's the issue. My girlfriend likes to walk around home barely wearing anything, which is fine, awesome even. But she does this even when the help are around. For example, last month her family hired a new driver for her. He stopped by the apartment to introduce himself. She was only wearing underwear. Keep in mind, this is the first time they've met in person. I felt awkward, he was visibly awkward, and she didn't give a shit at all. She was casually chatting to him while scrolling away on her phone. She does this all the time. She doesn't think she needs to wear any decent amount of clothes at all when people that work for her are around. She will casually walk around wearing just a thong or a tiny crop top, just a crop top, nothing else. She even does this with complete strangers. One time she opened the door for the delivery guy wearing only a see-through gown. You could see everything. Afterwards I talked to her about it and she was utterly confused as to why I felt uncomfortable. Then she laughed and told me to stop being a jealous baby. She even said that I'm unreasonable. We had another discussion about this yesterday and I told her that she probably wouldn't feel comfortable if I did the same. She said that she doesn't understand why I care what her staff think and that it never even crossed her mind that this is inappropriate. She told me that she only does this in the comfort of her home and not in front of actual people, i.e. people that don't work for her. She got kinda mad at me and vented to her friends. According to all of them, I'm weird for having a problem with this and an asshole for telling my girlfriend to cover up. Somehow I'm the villain of this story. Am I really the asshole? Why are you with someone who thinks the help aren't real people? She sounds incredibly self-centered and inconsiderate to treat people who work for her like their feelings don't matter at all. Adding the not the asshole judgment here. Not the asshole. She sounds classist AF. If she believes being naked or semi-nude in front of people is wrong, and it sounds like she does, then she doesn't believe these people are actual people. Info. Since when are staff not actual people? Not the asshole. First of all, it seems that she doesn't view the people that work for her in any capacity as actual people. Which is a next level of WTF. She also doesn't seem to see that it's grossly inappropriate to be practically naked in front of them. Don't get me wrong, I'm all about body positivity and I think her level of comfort she has with her own body is awesome, but she should absolutely cover up a little more when there are people over. Not the asshole when she gets sued for sexual harassment, she'll understand that she was wrong. Not the asshole, this isn't really a control issue where you are trying to manage her body. This is an issue where she doesn't view the people working for her as actual sentient people with feelings and completely disregards how uncomfortable this might be for them. Not the asshole. Your girlfriend is the asshole both for the fact that she doesn't view her employees as actual people, and for forcing them to view her almost naked when she holds a position of power over them. It's at best sexual harassment, at worst sexual assault. Not the asshole, but you should realize that your girlfriend does not view the help as human beings, so she sounds pretty entitled and terrible. Update. Am I the asshole for ruining my future SIL's wedding-to-be? Hello. I decided to post an update to my original post. After my boyfriend and my brother had their gaming night, my boyfriend called me over to our gaming room and we talked to my brother. We told him we both loved him but decided to not attend the wedding. My brother was obviously upset, until I followed the advice of many of you guys and showed my brothers my FSIL's texts. To say he was livid was an understatement. He actually called up my SIL in front of us and demanded that she apologize to both me and my BF. She did, but defended what she did and explained her reasons to my brother, the same reasons she gave me when I first confronted her. He tried to argue with her, but she told him that she'd talk to him once he came back home and hung up. It took some time, but my boyfriend was able to calm him down and we talked about everything. He told us he completely understands if we decided not to attend, and that he would never hold it against us, even though he would love for us to attend. He told us he would never want us to degrade ourselves just for his fiancée's happiness. He ended up spending the night at our house because I didn't want him driving when this upset. In the end we couldn't sleep and we talked almost all night. He told me that he sees my SIL in a new light now, since he feels like her family will have too much power over their relationship. Our mother knows that she doesn't have that kind of power over us, but he's scared that his mill would try to control his future wife. In the end he told me that maybe he didn't want to attend his own wedding. I told him to get some rest and to really think about it before doing anything reckless. He slept until 1 p.m. and then went back home. We got a text a few days later telling us the wedding was officially on a hiatus and that my brother and his fiancée are on a break. We told him that he could move in with us for now, if he needed space from his fiancée, and he agreed. In the end both my boyfriend and my brother told me I did the right thing by showing him the texts, because he deserved to know who he was about to marry. Thank you to all who helped me with this difficult situation, and I hope you appreciate the update. Damn. That's a terrible situation for your brother, but props to you and your brother for how y'all handled it. And honestly he's dodging a bullet, because I agree Phil, Mills can have a shocking amount of influence and those lines only get worse. Wait until grandkids are in picture and Phil, Mill thinks it's her way or highway. I love your brother. He did absolutely the right thing. Too often on this sub we see people being asked to hide who they are for the sake of keeping peace. It restores my faith in humanity to see an update like this. Thank you for the update. I'm glad you and your boyfriend have your brother's support, that goes a long way. Your former FSIL should not have gone behind your brother's back with the invitations. It's good he's taking a break and taking his time with evaluating his relationship with her. Like someone else said, props for the way you handled it, and I hope everything works out. Well, I'm sorry for your brother that it probably feels like everything is falling apart, but yes, he needed to know. You definitely did the right thing and he will be happier in the long run. Oh wow. My heart goes out to your brother, and I'm so glad he did the right thing. You handled this so well and with such sensitivity to both your boyfriend and brother. Best wishes to all three of you. I just read all this for the first time, but I think your brother definitely made the right choice for his future, and his kids' future. If any of their kids had come out as gay, I can only imagine the kind of nightmare they would have to face from both sides of the family. Your brother is a good man. I'm glad he is rethinking the relationship. The thing with people pleasers is often they feign softness, that, I just want to make everyone happy, when in reality they don't want to admit they are kissing their family's asses because they agree with them. Deep down she is also homophobic. And even if that isn't true, it doesn't say anything good about someone who will go to any lengths to please mommy or daddy. Life gets too hard to be with someone with no backbone. You have handled this perfectly well, and your brother is better off knowing and making a decision based on that. This has probably made the rest of his life a lot better, and marrying his girlfriend and her parents' influence would have made his life much harder. Am I the asshole for hurting my mom's friend's feelings? I got engaged about a month ago, and my fiancé and I recently set a date for late 2023. Everyone is excited, especially my mom, and in my opinion she's using her excitement as an excuse to ignore boundaries. But everyone, other than my fiancé, is insisting I'm in the wrong here, so I've come to Reddit for help. My mom's friend is a hairdresser. My mom has been going to her for at least 25 years, and I grew up having this woman, I'll call her Stacy, do my hair. Stacy was great when I was a kid, but as an adult woman, Stacy is, well, she's very nice, but sometime in the past few years she's been incapable of doing my hair. A few examples have been: I asked for curtain bangs and left with straight across 7-year-old bangs. I asked Stacy not to use heat on my hair, trying to protect my natural curls, and Stacy told me I didn't have curly hair and straightened it anyway. Jokes about checking in with my parents to make sure they approved what I was doing to my hair. This lasted until I stopped seeing Stacy at 22. The last straw was asking for a caramel balayage and leaving with level 7 or 8 highlights with a money piece because this looks better, trust me. She didn't say anything to me about changing the color to look better, she just did it. So, when my mom asked if I wanted Stacy to do everyone's hair and makeup, I said no. However, my mom kept asking. I'm not exaggerating when I say she asked almost 15 times in 2 weeks, and each time I said no. Eventually my mother and I came to the consensus that the wedding would be too far away from Stacy to even ask. I thought that was that. The next day, my mom called. She had asked Stacy to do everyone's makeup and hair, and Stacy had accepted. Wasn't I excited? I reminded her that I had said no, and that even though she had asked Stacy, my answer was still no. My mom just hung up, and I haven't heard from her since. My dad and brother, however, are blowing up my phone. They say mom has been consoling Stacy this whole time, and I'm acting like a cold-hearted brat. They think once mom asked Stacy I should have just sucked it up, because Stacy is mom's friend, and I've really hurt her by excluding her. Who cares if she screws up hair, makeup? It's just hair, and it's just one day. I am being a bridezilla, and it's only a month in. Am I being an asshole about this? Not the asshole. If Stacy can't be trusted to do what you ask of her, she doesn't need to be involved with your wedding hair and makeup. Your mom can apologize to Stacy and explain that she tried to set this all up behind your back. Not the asshole. She can do mom's hair and makeup if it's that important, but you have every right to decide who does yours and the bridal party. Your mom did this to herself. Ignore your dad and brother, they don't want to deal with her antics. I'd also not be accepting any money from them. Not the asshole. Stacy is the reason I have to switch hairdressers every few years. They start believing that what they give you is more important than what you want. And I can't believe they're saying, it's just one day. It's one of the most important days of your life. I've been married nearly 20 years and I have a big photo of my husband and I on the wall. If I had to see my messed up hair I'd cry. Stand your ground. It's mom's fault for asking Stacy when you already told her no. Not the asshole. Your mom is the only asshole as far as I can tell. Stacy, having grown up doing your hair, probably asked but you said no, and mom could have just told her that you didn't want her to work that day because she was going to be a guest. Instead mom told her she was doing it and then had to tell her you said no because. IDK what she said, but probably the truth, and that was just an asshole move, to be honest. You didn't hurt her feelings, your mom did. Not the asshole. Your mom is the one who asked Stacy despite you repeatedly saying no. Find another hairdresser ASAP and say that you want to preserve your relationship with that hairdresser, so they'll be pitting that against the relationship with Stacy. You can say that this hairdresser is doing your hair for free, so that's another reason you want to go with her over Stacy. Also, calling it just hair is rude to Stacy's profession. Tell them you're gonna tell her they don't value her career choices. And since it's just one day, none of them should mind if you don't see them on that one day, since it's so unimportant. Not the asshole. WTF. I don't want Stacy to do my wedding hair. I have arranged for Stacy to do your wedding hair. Your brother and father need to get back in their box. This is not bridezilla behavior. The only bridezilla is your mother, who is not listening to you. It's your wedding day. Sucking it up gets done by other people, not you. It is completely reasonable that you don't want your hair and makeup done by someone who doesn't give a rat's behind what you want or think. And what the hell is wrong with Stacy? She is a professional hairdresser. She didn't get the job. You wanted a hairdresser closer to you and who actually listens to you do it. I don't believe for one moment she is breaking her heart. This is just manipulative BS. Not the asshole. Inhales and sighs. What freaking part of the word no do parents not get? Woman facepalming, dark skin tone. If you say no to this, you're nothing more than a stupid bridezilla. Screw that. Bruh. Keep fighting. If they cancel stuff, try to make a new. But do not budge. Not the asshole. Even if Stacy was the absolute best hairdresser, beautician on the planet, you would be under no obligation to have her do your wedding hair and makeup. It's disrespectful of your mother to not only try and pressure you into using her, but to actively go behind your back after you'd given your answer. Your dad and your brother don't seem to understand how not okay that is. Am I the asshole for refusing to help my ADHD husband until he gets treatment? Throwaway because friends on Reddit. My 27F husband, 35M, have been married for 2 years. Until the last year, I would have said that things were great. My husband has had an ADHD diagnosis since he was a child and has always done well with medication. He took meds through school and has managed to hold down a good job with only some mild symptoms. About 6 months after we got married, I noticed that he started to change. He was a lot more forgetful, irritable, and he started doing a lot of impulsive spending. I'm a medical resident, and knowing he had ADHD, I asked if his meds were giving him trouble. He said that he had stopped taking them. I tried to reason with him, but he had been reading some blogs and become convinced he didn't need meds. He said that ADHD was his superpower, and that I should love him the way he is or not at all. Things have gotten worse quickly over the last year. He used to help out with chores and now can't even load the dishwasher without losing focus and wandering off. We keep our money separate, and even with a good amount of expendable income, he's gone through a lot of his savings and has trouble paying his section of the bills. He explodes verbally sometimes and has alienated one of his best college friends over a silly argument in a way that's not likely to be forgiven. He won't acknowledge any of this is happening and gets angry when I point out that I've been covering the lion's share of the expenses for the last 4 months and trying to take care of the entire house while also doing my residency. I reached the end of my tether when he asked me for money to cover his car payment for the 3rd time. I told him that I would keep the utilities on, but his car, insurance, and other expenses were on him and there would be no more handouts. I also told him that I couldn't keep burning the candle at both ends, so his laundry and meals were now on him to prepare. This lasted for less than a week before he started asking for help with his car again. I told him the only condition on which I would help would be if he started back on some treatment for his ADHD. Not necessarily the same meds if he didn't like them, but something, because this was unbearable. We had a fight about it and he told me that I should help him because he has ADHD so he can't help it and needs support. I told him that he had spent the last year telling me that ADHD is his superpower, so he can superpower his way into regular car payments and laundry then without my help or get treatment and receive help. He called me an ableist b.tch and stomped off. I talked to a psych friend who says that the quip might have been a little unkind but the boundaries are reasonable. My SIL is angry and says I shouldn't force him to take meds if he doesn't want them. All I know is that it's exhausting and as much as it hurts the next step is leaving him. Update. I messaged him this morning and asked if we could talk about the state of things this evening over dinner since I'm off call and he said not until I apologize and accept that my attitude is the problem not him. So, I've made arrangements to stay in an Airbnb to clear my head for the next few days so I can at least relax properly between call shifts, and I'll reevaluate when I'm not feeling so worked up. This is impacting my work and health too much and reading these replies I'm starting to realize that. I hope he comes around, but I've worked too hard to go down with him. Not the asshole. Once someone's behavior starts being the detriment to others on a regular basis, it needs to change. While you shouldn't force your husband to take meds if he doesn't want to, he can't force you to stay with him if it's driving you nuts. I'm not gonna tell you to divorce him because your wedding vows may have included, in sickness and in health. But unfortunately he has to remember to uphold his side of the bargain. I have ADHD and I kind of hate your boyfriend. Not the asshole. Edit. No, seriously, I spend half my life trying to stay on track and make sure this shitty disorder doesn't impact the people I love and this asshole is just like, pay my car and do my laundry or you're an ableist bitch. Fuck him. Not the asshole. You didn't marry this man. You don't even know him and it sounds like he's neither trustworthy, nor particularly nice. The man you married was responsible, thoughtful, and a partner, not a child. He's made adult choices, but has to be prepared for the consequences of his actions or inactions. As Reddit likes to say, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You need to protect your own mental and physical health, as well as a safe living situation. On top of that, you're in a seriously stressful job, made more so by COVID. Trouble is, if the situation doesn't change, something's got to give. That seems to either be you or your marriage. I don't know if you can survive if you try to let him continue to ride roughshod over you. Not the asshole. Speaking as a person who has ADHD and was unmedicated for a very long time, he has the right to make his own choices about his meds. He does not have the right to demand that you pick up the slack and bear the brunt of the consequences of his choices. Not the asshole. You've and down a reasonable request for an adult who knows all of the information and is choosing to make poor choices. Goodbye car. My SIL is angry and says I shouldn't force him to take meds if he doesn't want them. Then she can take care of him. See how long she lasts. Not the asshole. Your boundaries are completely reasonable. This is coming from another adult with ADHD. I'm sorry you're going through this, truly. Not the asshole. He doesn't get a free pass because he has ADHD. His choice leads to his consequences.